All right, guys, I watched this video for Friday, December 18th, and I thought that the SPY couldn't get more boring than yesterday, right? Today it gapped up, and I think today's daily candle is more narrow in range than yesterday. It's hard to tell. They're just like a couple little splotches, though, not even like candles. So, but we still did a good job rooting out some opportunities. One of the early calls I made was PLTR. And we had it on long watch in the video last night, and then it set up like this 10 minutes in, opening 5-minute candles here. It opened right at the half, right at 26.50, sold off, curled right back up. So now you got a 5-minute buy setup right around the red to green and a half number of flex point and the high of day just above. I called that long through the half, and I mean within that same 5 minutes up almost 50 cents. I think Wayne called it later again through 27. So a couple calls in that one, and it finished pretty strong, by the way. Probably my best call of the day was this VIRI. Go to 5-minute candles and show it to you. Initially, I thought it was interesting when it looked like this. They had like 3 candles in a row that topped out at 12.50, and then you had a higher high there of 12.75 and the early high of 13.37. So I felt like you had stacked catalysts here if it got through the half. So I called it long over 12.50, but it never broke and started to come back down. And when it curled back up, I typed into chat something like, I'm paraphrasing here, there was a refresh seller at 12.50, so I'm going to go ahead and make my entry idea over this lower high on the day over 12.75. So I just got away from that refresh seller, right? Actually, and so then it came back up and I actually got long. I believe I got filled right at 12.75. And I mean, within 10 minutes, it went to 14.40, and that was a huge trade for me. That was a great little midday trade. And then it ended up going out at its highs. It was one of the ones I was watching in after hours today, but after hours today is really boring. I couldn't find anything to trade. So anyway, this one day of trading so far, it goes on the watch list for tomorrow. All right, SCPS, second day of trading, had a huge day, but closing well off its highs. I'm a day trader, so a stock showing me that kind of range, I'm going to watch it. YGMZ, same thing, had a huge day, closed off its highs, and actually after hours it's 14.50 right now. So the euphoria in after hours seems to be, people seem to be realizing, hey, maybe I've been chasing these, right? However, again, when you have a crazy move like this, as a day trader, you better have that one on a chart for the next several days, so I will. SBE, the only reason this is on watch, well, a couple reasons actually. For one, it was the strongest stock in the world back here. And then it came down and held the 20-day, and now it's just kind of chopping sideways. Well, Blink, which is its sister stock, just ripped, I think, to new all-time highs. No, not new all-time highs, but certainly, those are weekly candles, certainly new recent highs. And SBE, I think, has bigger market saturation than Blink. I could be wrong. They're both for EV charging. Anyway, this one, the reason I like it, for one, as a sympathy to Blink, and two, today it hit 36, and then midday it hit 30, well, almost hit 36, went really close to it again. So for me, it's interesting over 36 tomorrow, knowing that you have this recent high of 36.45 not far away as another catalyst. So I'm going to be watching SBE. I'll probably keep an eye on Blink, see what it does. DMYD, weird looking chart here. Hasn't been trading that long, and had 3 or 4 days where it had these nasty topping tails, rolled over. Next thing you know, goes out at recent high, or at all-time highs, right up there. So let's see, it did this on 2.38 million shares, so probably moves pretty easy, right? Anyway, I want to keep my eyes on that one, although the chart to me is a little weird with all those tails and then the revisit to the highs. I can't type, NNDM, I've been saying that all day, I can't type today. NNDM, nice bounce from that buy zone on the daily and topped out just about 7. Actually went to 704 before closing at 685. I like trading around whole numbers, so for me, the daily chart looks really good. It bounced off the 20-day, so I guess an interesting setup would be through 7 tomorrow, whole number, depending, it all depends on how it trades intraday, knowing that 704 breaks today's high, so it's kind of an interesting setup. ABUS, not that pretty here, but it got a price target increase, I think maybe to $10 today. Anyway, topped out at 508 before closing at 473. Kind of another interesting one that you've got 3 days in a row where it closed below its open, right? So if it can get through 5 tomorrow, then you've got if nothing else, you got this 508 catalyst just above, and then maybe it gets going again. We had a nice trade in it this day, right? Called that, I think, red to green at the open or something. That was a really nice trade, or right after the open, I should say. So anyway, that one goes on watch, although it looks a little weird. BQ, big volume day and a pretty strong close. Hasn't been trading that long. For some reason, these recent IPOs are catching fire, right? It's one of the dumber themes I've seen as a trader. You know, you see themes like Bitcoin, at least that makes sense. EV plays make sense. Recent IPOs doesn't make sense, but you know, I'm a trader. I'm going to trade what's moving. So keep an eye on that one. And that, by the way, BQ might have had news that I'm not aware of. I'm guessing when I say it's moving because it's a recent IPO. CLSK kind of flagging here after a really big move, so I want to watch that one. ATXI, big break out of this island down here today, closing off its highs, but a big volume day. We're going to watch for maybe a red to green, some kind of follow-through setup. NPA, big breakout yesterday, quiet inside day today. Sometimes you get a third day rip again, so watching that for a third day play. Couple more. RVP, really strong stock on the vaccine. They make needles, right? Syringes. And now you've got a 2-day pullback right back into that buy zone. So possible trade setting up again in RVP. And then lastly, SNOA, which is one ugly daily chart, a lot of bag holders. The only reason this is on watch is because it's trading, it's actually trading over 1050 in after hours, although right now it's trading at 955. So we'll have a look at it in the morning. You know, if it's round tripped and trading all the way back down here, then it's not interesting at all. It's not that interesting anyway, just because you have all these bag holders. Traded over 60 million shares this day. So a gap up into a partial retrace of this big candle, to me still says a lot of bag holders are just going to be thankful that they're getting some kind of gap up, and that's going to create a lot of overhead pressure. Couple that with the fact that every time this gaps up, it gets slapped down. It's a bag holder stock for people chasing it long. But because it was getting some action in after hours, I went ahead and threw it on watch. All right, I'm done babbling. We'll see you in chat in the morning.